the male lion wants his genes to go on. Come on, let me think about this. Do you really think when the lion comes in and takes possession of all the females, do you really think he's thinking about his genetic makeup, his genetic life continuing? Do you really think that's what he's thinking about? That makes no sense. There's only one thing he's thinking about, and that's the female lion's triangular part, so to speak. Why does he destroy the other cubs that maybe another male lion sired? Because he smells competition. He smells someone who could come in. So you have men saying, oh, well, no, you see, what they're doing is they want their genetic line to continue. They're trying to ennobilize what in the animal world, with the males who take control of a pride or a herd, this is what they want. One thing, it has nothing to do with genetic lines or bloodlines or generations. They want one thing, okay? And I would argue that in general, throughout history, men have done the same thing. Just before the August conference, there was a release by ISIS. There was a gentleman who was speaking for ISIS, and he said that the Quran justified the assault and rape of women. The Quran justified the assault and rape of women. How really, do you really think that's the case? One other very quick one, and this one is just so demeaning to me, to humankind, to our primitive ancestors. There's a concept, and I'm going to get in trouble, I'm sure, with this one, but I started to introduce it. Again, I think the ladies were in the August gathering, and they hear some of the electrical problems that we're having. I'm sure that they're giggling because of some of the things they experienced, but let me continue. I'm going to get in trouble with this one, and I know, and I say this with the greatest of respect, but there's this concept of Mother Earth, okay? Mother Earth sustains us, Mother Earth gave birth to us, Mother Earth takes care of us, and here's the problem I have. I mean, when did that concept begin? Where did that appear? Some of the earliest ones actually go back to the Greeks. I haven't really been able to substantiate it anywhere else. But let's go back. Let's say Mother Earth, okay? Where did the concept of Mother Earth come from? Did some primitive caveman somewhere, he's looking around, oh, this is where babies come from. They come from the earth. Oh, there's a cave over there. Let's sit and watch. Pretty soon, a bunch of babies are going to come out. Is that really what happened? No, these prehistoric men, and they didn't come from Mother Earth. What prehistoric man was wandering around and, oh, look, there's a hole right there. It's not a gopher hole. It's Mother Earth. Let's wait. Any second now, a baby's going to pop out. Doesn't make any sense. That's something that somebody says, oh, symbolically, see, she's taking care of us. You know what? Mother Earth isn't taking care of us. If that were the case, Mother Earth wouldn't have volcanoes and tectonic plate movement, cold blast. And the concept of Mother Earth is somebody somewhere said, oh, because no, Mother Earth really doesn't care about us. We need to care about taking care of this planet so we can continue to survive. But as to me, and I apologize because I know people say, oh, Mother Earth, Mother Earth, and Mother Earth, and I think they mean it respectfully, but it doesn't make sense. Mother Earth didn't give birth to humankind. Didn't happen. But here's an even better one. There are anthropologists back in the 1800s, and they wrote these papers. Oh, well, Neanderthal man shows evidence that he buried some of his dead. And Cro-Magnon man, there's even some evidence that Cro-Magnon man, Homo sapiens, they buried their dead. They were returning the deceased person back to the womb of Earth. Okay, let me think about this. Where, when has any group of people, when someone is deceased, tried to put the deceased body back into the womb that it came from? How does that make any sense? Who came up with the idea, okay, we're putting them back in the womb? You didn't get it by human time. Doesn't work. It's just somebody's, that's it. They're returning her to the womb. Where did that concept come from? How does that make any sense? That Earth gave birth, and then when someone dies, you got to put them back in the womb. You see what I'm saying? It's like, it doesn't make sense. And how could anyone think that prehistoric cavemen and cavewomen thought, aha, babies don't come from women, they come from the earth, and as soon as he dies, you got to shove him back into the womb. You know,
I'm so sorry, but that's just that whole visual, Robert. It just makes total sense.
I'm telling you, I'm going to get in trouble because people have been talking about Mother Earth forever and ever. They spend a lifetime, oh, Mother Earth protects you, Mother Earth takes care of you. And I'm going to argue, I'm sorry, with the greatest of respect, and I know you mean well, you're wrong. Mother Earth does not take care of us. We need to take care of Mother Earth. Mother Earth is growing depending upon, what's going on in its environment at any given moment. And so we are really denigrating, we're putting down the primitive people of long ago. We can't even duplicate the Great Pyramid. We can't duplicate how they built Stonehenge and drew those stones from miles and miles away. We can't do that. And then we turn around and we say, these prehistoric people thought you got to take a poor deceased guy and shove him back in the womb? What? Okay.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying is that we are burdened with these words and these truths and these things that absolutely do not make any sense. And so we accept it. Oh, well then, it has to be this, and sacred has to mean dedicated to a god. No, actually, the word sex, the whole concept of sex came from a woman's private organs. The concept of truth, the concept of Druidism, even Wicca and all these others, Freemasonry. I spent the entire second book showing how Freemasonry is based ultimately on the private parts of a woman. Moses and the tabernacle, there's a whole other story. The Ark of the Covenant. These are things that I'm saying is, look, it just doesn't make any sense. Okay, I'm going to finish up, and I know that you've probably got some questions people are sending in, but I'm going to give you one other very quick one here to show you the foundation of some of the work that we do. Earlier when I said, okay, try to imagine a woman's private parts if she is laying down and you see the cut, and if you turn sideways, there's the crescent, then you see the pubic triangle. Oh, now there's one other one here, and I'm going to try and be delicate here. Let us suppose that you could take that cut slightly, okay, and you would see a tiny little structure, a little like bead that's standing forth. It's out. It's in visual view. Okay, so you have a shape, maybe a football kind of opening. Vesica is a good word for it, with a tiny little round thing in the middle. If you were to look at that sideways, it would be an eye. It would be similar to an eye. And I have, in both books, I have shown that the sacred eye of God, the eye of Horus, the all-seeing eye of Freemasonry, the all-seeing eye of Moses, and the tabernacle and the Ark of the Covenant are all derived from a simple visual concept of a woman's private parts that have been opened slightly to show the clitoris. It is so prominent. The eye of God that's on, okay, you got the eye of God, right? You can imagine the eye. Now, suppose that eye is inside the inverted triangle, the pubic triangle. If you turn that eye sideways, you know what you have? You have the eye of God in an inverted triangle. That is the divine eye of God for Freemasons, and it's on every single dollar bill in your purse and in your wallet. The symbol of the eye is based on the sexual organs of a woman. One other one, very quick, and then I'm just going to yield to whatever you want to talk about, questions or whatever. One other one. Suppose I said that when you look at the slightly opened vesica and you have that little round structure in the center, what if I said it was a symbolic clearing in a forest? The pubic hair is the forest. It's a clearing. And in the middle of the clearing is a tiny little hill. The word hill in Greek is klite. The root klite is the root for clitoris. The tiny hill. What God in the Bible was so upset about when you have these Israelites who still prayed and worshiped the goddess, and they would go to these clearings and they would build a structure on a hill. Then God said no, and you've got to burn them, destroy all this. The concept of the hill in a clearing is a simple, it's an overworked image of the private parts of a woman. The sacred eye of God is an overworked image of the private parts of a woman, and it gets even better. However, what I would say is in the first two books, I spend a lot of time on the symbolism, on the words, on the linguistics, and I am going to argue that man's most mysterious philosophies, religions, and disciplines one thing, a woman's private parts. And so I am trying to unlock and show womankind, look, man throughout history has reduced you to one thing. And one, in the Lost History, I'm going to show you what it really meant, what really were the rituals. And I'm not going to say that there wasn't a certain degree of sexuality involved. I tell you what. One more quick one, and then I promise you I'm going to stop, okay? One more quick one. Never said this to anyone before, and let me share this one for you. Let me look up the numbers that I've got here. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Can you hear me okay? Because, you know,
Perfect.
we may end up blowing a fuse, and JP is really going to get upset with me on this one here. Okay. Let's look at this delicately. But we're going to discuss this more in depth in February. If you can do it, Rebecca, you got to come out, because this one's going to be a mind blower. A woman has 8,000 nerve endings in a structure that is approximately, and on average, 1/5 of an inch in diameter. I think you know what I'm talking about, okay? That little hill.
Yep.
The average woman has 8,000 nerve endings in that little hill that's 1/5 of an inch in diameter. A man has 3,500 nerve endings in a structure that is approximately 1 1/2 inches in diameter. All right, now here's math, and I started with a math major before I ended up with a religion major, but here's the point. The area of a male structure that has these nerve endings, the diameter is 7/5 of an inch, 1.5 inches. When you do the math, 4 pi r radius squared, you find that a male has an area, as much area as that which a woman has. I hope that made sense. But here's the point. When you look at the surface area of a male's organ and the surface area of a woman's hill, women have 20 nerve endings on that little hill for every 1 male nerve ending on his organ. 20 nerve endings to 1. What that means is if in union a male and a female both climax, she will climax with 20 nerve endings to his 1. In other words, anything that she may experience, if it's a reasonable climax, will be 20 times greater than the male could possibly have. And not only that, she can do it again minutes later, and again and again. What's the point I want to make? The point is that the bioelectricity that is generated by a woman in union is infinitely hundreds and hundreds of times greater than what a man can produce in his union. And that's what scares men. especially those who have studied shamanism, because the bioelectricity that women generate during this time allows them to reach beyond this reality, beyond this mortal body. Women are extraordinary creatures, the most amazing beings that have ever survived or lived on this planet. Ladies, you are undoubtedly superior to men in every respect. And remember this, take heart, in 5 million years, the Y chromosome is going to disappear. I will not save humankind. I will not save womankind. I'm not going to save anything, but I'm trying to preserve the lost history, and this is part of it. This is only a tiny fragment. This is a small part. Oh, by the way, in October, I have a granddaughter who I've adopted, and she's going to hold a video conference. And I want to advise, if you can, I'm going to give her something that we've never talked about, and that is the mystery of the woman's boat. There is such a thing in long ago legends, and even in the scientific world. There was a woman's ship, a boat, this thing that changed humankind, the evolution of humankind. So if you take a look on the website, you can see the information there. But here's the point. I need help in preserving the lost culture of womankind. And certainly, JP, you have helped me in the past, but Rebecca, if you can make it in, Rebecca, you're my guest. Come and see some of the things that we're going to not only talk about, but come and see the ruins and come and do the dancing. I need help in preserving the lost culture, and I need women to do that. I can't do that. I can give you the history. I got plenty more to talk about and to show you, but I need help preserving the lost culture of womankind. And you have been very, very, so patient, so kind with me to let me ramble on tonight, and I appreciate that. Thank you, and thank you, Miss Rebecca. And JP, my apologies for the electrical disturbances, and you've been very patient as well. So thank you very much. There's just so much more that we could share, but I know that there are things that you need to say, and I'm sure that there are questions that others would like to pose. And so thank you to all of you, my family, to the August gathering ladies, so much. And Rebecca and JP, thank you. Thank you very much for being so patient with me.
Listen, patience isn't really needed here. I, like all the other viewers, and JP as well, were very aptly listening. And here's what I'm really digging most about what you're saying, besides all the previous times you've been on. This time you presented mathematical data, which is, when you put it into that perspective, when you bring things into that perspective, into its lowest denominational form, and it becomes very understandable. It's quite fantastic, and I appreciate all the education that you've had. First of all, that you could even figure these things out, and second of all, I appreciate you presenting them in such a way that you did tonight. And true that this particular show, and anytime that you're on, Robert, is controversial for many people because the concept is foreign to them. And it's like all the other lies that's been told to humanity through the eons of time, right? This is just one of the bigger ones about womankind. It's hard for many people to wrap their mind around. It's hard for them to grasp that there is that potential that what you're saying could be true, or that there's truth to even some of it. You know, I mean, you have to do the research on your own. And with that, I will tell people is that they really do need to go to your website, and that's robertmorningsky.com, and get the book, The Lost History of Womankind, The Birth of God, and the other ones that you have. You are very good about supplying a ton of different pieces of information on your website. So even if people just peruse your website, they can get a really good idea of some of the other pieces that 2 hours is just not enough time to even begin to cover a thimbleful of the information that's available and is out there about this topic, because it covers the entire gamut of existence, literally, from language to traditions to the dynamics of relationships, etc., and so forth. I mean, it just goes on and on. Religions, belief systems, etc., and so forth. The very fabric of our lives. You also get into the star peoples. You talk about the star peoples and where some of your legends come from, and you're very good about that. These are from past shows, and again, I tell people is that I do believe they're still on my archives on my website. That's journeyswithrebecca.com. If they're not, please let me know, and I will search them out and see if I can't get them back up there, because I think this work is very, very important. And I would be more than honored to be out there in February if I'm so able to do so, and bring that information back. And certainly would love to have you come back on the air again, maybe right after your February event, but certainly you are welcome to come on at any time. That would be my open invitation to you, is that anytime that you would like to come and express and talk about a specific topic or topics, I would love to have that.
Oh, thank you. And I appreciate it. I know that early on that you talked about, I mentioned in our February gathering, I talked about King Arthur, I talked about the Amazons. There was so much there, and again, I apologize, just not enough time, but maybe somewhere down the road, if the invitation is good and the timing is good. King Arthur is a fascinating subject. The King Arthur, Merlin, the Druids, the search for the Holy Grail. Fascinating story. I mean, it's remarkable, and I'd love to talk about him at some time. And then, of course, we have the Templars and the Amazons. And if absolutely, you let me know, and I love talking with you guys. You let me go on and on, and I'm so appreciative. I'm so honored that you allow me to do that. So thank you very much. Yes, certainly, I would love to be back on with you. Absolutely.
Well, then we'll make a date before the end of 2015 to have you back on to talk specifically about King Arthur and the Templars and the Amazon, and we're just going to make it happen, Robert.
Robert, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Good. Let me just see. I'm still online, I'm pretty sure. Let's see what's happened to Rebecca.
I'm here.
Are you there, Rebecca? Can you hear me?
I'm here. I'm here.
I can hear Rebecca.
Oh, there you are.
Yeah, I'm here.
Yes. All right. Okay. There we go. Okay. So, this is wonderful. I could even, I was even thinking about maybe a 4 or 5 hour time slot to do a special show. Maybe do a really long Google Hangout, and you can do some of this stuff with
breaks.
Rebecca. Yeah, with breaks. But make and get some slides in, and you can even put videos in. This is powerful. We could do this. So
I actually have restructured my office. My library is over 5,000 books, and I've had to rearrange it. And I've set it up so that I have a screen behind me, and I'll be able to both shoot some videos, and if we can do some live videos. I explained earlier why I had difficulty with this particular video setup, but it is possible to do video conferences, and it's one of the things that we have thought about doing are conferences where you could sit for 2 or 3 hours as opposed to 3 days. I know that's taxing at the same time. If we could do something like that, I would be honored. Absolutely. The two of you are phenomenal. Again, two of the most supportive individuals in helping us put this out there. And the elders, from them, so the SimCC elders, thank you. My family, the August ladies, I'm very, very appreciative of what you've allowed us to do. Thank you again. Thank you very much.
Our pleasure and our honor. So before we let you go, because honestly, we've run out of time, so the questions will have to wait. And I think what we will do is JP and I will put our heads together and see what we can come up with. And I'll make a presentation to you. I'll email you, Robert, and we'll see what we can do. But in the meantime, I would like for you to share with the audience. I've talked about your website, but go ahead and repeat your website, where your books are available, and any other last pieces of information in the last minute that we have left on the air tonight.
Well, thank you. I have two websites up presently. One is robertmorningsky.com. That's where the core of our material is. It changes. I change it quite frequently, always testing and putting up new material. But I do also have a second website. It's www.losthistoryofwomankind.com. And that's where I have posted the information. We're going to have a gathering in February on the 26th, 27th, and 28th. We will discuss more of the lost history, but I also want to do dance instruction in some of the old Semsia ways, the shamanist ways, and take people up to the ruins as well. We're going to cram quite a bit into 3 days there. So that one's going to be a little more intensive than August, even though I'm sure the August ladies are going to say that was pretty intensive. We worked them pretty hard, and they danced every day. And anyway, there will be a February gathering. You can see the two websites, robertmorningsky.com, losthistoryofwomankind.com. And as I said, we change postings. I'm trying to get them up at least once a week. We put some new stuff on, drop some old things, and some of the comments that, as things come up. So those would be the two best ways to get a hold of us. And it's Robert Morningsky at robertmorningsky.com. Again, thank you very, very much, Rebecca. I certainly appreciate it, and I hope that we can see you in February. JP, thank you as well, and if we can work on something in the future again, if you don't mind getting in trouble with, some people and some of the things that I've said, thank you. I appreciate it, and we can do that too.
I'll buy some switch cleaner.
All right, everyone. This has been fantastic. Robert, again, thank you so much, and I want to thank the audience out there. And please be sure to check out my website. I have some classes and events coming up. Don't forget to check out that page at journeyswithrebecca.com. I will be back here next Tuesday and Wednesday. Please be sure to sign up for the free newsletter so that you are always kept abreast of the latest guest information updates, classes, webinars, things like that will be upcoming. So until we meet again, where will your life's journey lead you? Many blessings, everyone, and good night.
To ennobilize what in the animal world, what the males who take control of a pride or a herd, this is what they want. One thing. It has nothing to do with genetic lines or bloodlines or generations. They want one thing. Okay? And I would argue that in general, throughout history, men have done the same thing. Just before the August conference, there was a release by ISIS. There was a gentleman who was speaking for ISIS, and he said that the Quran justified the assault and rape of women. The Quran the male lion wants his genes to go on. Let me think about this. Do you really think when the lion comes in and takes possession of all the females, do you really think he's thinking about his genetics justified the assault and rape of women? How really do you really think that's the case? One other very quick one, and this one is just so demeaning to me, to humankind, to our primitive ancestors. There's a concept, and I'm going to get in trouble, I'm sure, with this one, but I started to introduce it. Again, I think the ladies from the August gathering, and they hear some of the electrical problems that we're having. I'm sure that they're giggling because of some of the things they experienced. But let me continue. I'm going to get in trouble with this one, and I know, and I say this with the greatest of respect, but there's this concept of Mother Earth. Okay, Mother Earth sustains us, Mother Earth gave birth to us, Mother Earth takes care of us. And here's the problem I have. I mean, when did that concept begin? Where did that appear? Some of the earliest ones actually go back to the Greeks. I haven't really been able to substantiate it. Makeup, his genetic life continuing. Do you really think that's what he's thinking about? That makes no sense. There's only one thing he's thinking about, and that's the female lion's triangular part, so to speak. Why does he destroy the other cubs that maybe another male lion sired? Because he smells competition. He smells someone who could come in. So you have men saying, oh, well, no, you see, what they're doing is they want their genetic line to continue. They're trying